But before we do that, we want to give you the latest edition
Or addiction.
It
is an addiction,
of
too.
the Angry Browns fan. And yesterday, I'm sure it was all about the referees.
I'm the Angry Browns fan, and I bring your post to life. This week, the Cleveland Browns lose to the Patriots, and it was all going good up until about the fourth quarter. Guess who's not an Angry Browns fan this week? This girl. I redact my statement. So angry. All I can say is, wow. You can see that flag coming before the play even started. Bullshit call. Refs are blowing this Browns game. And this is why Browns fans drink. I'm not even surprised anymore. That's the worst part. I think I'm going to throw up. No way, that's pass interference. Horse call. Our team is cursed. Browns are cursed. Dear Browns, thank you for letting me waste another 4 hours of my life on this useless team. The refs just flagged the Browns 15 yards for breathing the same air as Tom Brady. And that's it for this week. The next time you're angry at the Browns, use the hashtag AngryBrownsFan, and I may take your post and put it in a video. Until next time, stay angry, Cleveland.
Did you see a play you just didn't like? Pause right now, you got the right. All the bad moves in Cleveland. Use a hashtag AngryBrownsFan.
Love the Angry Browns fan.
Yes.
You know, he raised the bar so high last week. I was trying to figure out if there's any way how the Angry Browns fan would be able to match what he did last week with the Christmas song.
No, it's hard to do. And what he had to work with, that almost was non-existent, the Angry Browns fan, because he was winning the football game until the final minute of the game. And then all those tweets come streaming in, either probably within that time as you're watching the train get closer to hit the bus that's in the track, or afterwards. So, yeah, he did a great job. That was a tough one to put together this week.
All right, Eric, what are we doing? Grading the team now?
Yes.
All right, Eric, let's bring in Chris Fedor. Chris Fedor. Why do I do that to you, Chris, every time I talk from 92.3 The Fan? Hi, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I don't know. This is one of those Mondays. And then we also have Kenny Rhoda, who's, I don't know exactly what he's doing. Hi, Kenny.
I'm making my letter grades, guy. I want to add the production value to this today.
Okay, good. All right, look at that. He's got it already.
Nice,
ready.
Kenny.
All right, Eric, go ahead. Fire away. What's our first thing we're grading this week?
Since we got our fantasy expert in here too, Chris Fedor, I want to grade these three players in the AFC to see who you think is the best wide receiver. Josh Gordon, Demaryius Thomas, or A.J. Green. If you could have one, who would you have right now?
Chris, you go ahead and answer that because that totally breaks format of everything that we're supposed to be doing right now. So go ahead. Why don't you just give him a little fantasy help because he can't figure it out on his own.
Man, that's really tough. In terms of fantasy football, I think Josh Gordon's the one that I'd rather have. But just overall, if you're talking about pure talent, I'm still sticking with A.J. Green. I think he's the most talented wide receiver in the game, not named Calvin Johnson. But in terms of fantasy football, it's Josh Gordon because he's getting like 15 to 20 targets per game, and there's really nobody else for Jason Campbell to throw the football to besides Josh Gordon and Jordan Cameron. So I think it's Gordon when it comes to fantasy, but still A.J. Green I think is more talented overall. I think he's more polished overall as a wide receiver.
Eric, any more personal questions we can answer for your fantasy football team?
No, that does it.
Are you sure? You sure you don't want to tell us the name of your fantasy football team while we're at it?
It's Revis and Butthead.
Oh, there we go. Of course. We knew it would be something great like that.
Well, you know, based into the wide receiver thing real quick without getting off the track. Reggie Rucker said on Sports Sunday last night his top three receivers in the NFL right now is just what Chris was saying. It's Calvin Johnson. He puts Josh Gordon number 2, Thomas number 3. Those are his top 3.
All right, Eric, give us top.
Guys, can I weigh in on this?
Yeah,
just
you're
real
in.
quick?
Go in.
Here's the thing.
Wait,
with,
wait, Kenny. We're playing Let's Help Eric the Referee's fantasy team. Go ahead, next.
Yes, with Josh Gordon right now, for the rest of this season in fantasy football, Josh Gordon is number 1. I mean, just look at the numbers. He set an NFL record over the last 4 games, and he's the main target. Andy Dalton has trouble throwing the football. You don't know what you're going to get from week to week. And Megatron has been putting up some good numbers, but not as good as Josh Gordon. So for right now, it's Josh Gordon. But in the offseason, that's where my concern is still with Josh Gordon. What happens when the regiment, the outline, the everyday practices are all done, and he's got all that free time in Texas? What happens to him then? That's where my concern is with Josh Gordon.
Well, now that he's a superstar, all that stuff will get cut under the rug, right? We'll all forget about it. Nothing's going to come out. There's no dirty laundry. We know how the league works, right?
We'll see.
You with me? Chris, do you agree with that?
No, not at all.
No? All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Eric, go ahead. What do you got next?
Let's grade the defense.
Chris Fedor, you're first. Grade the defense.
Well, guys, it's going to be hard for me to get low grades to really any area of the Browns from yesterday because I didn't think they had a chance going into the game against New England. I thought with the way that the Patriots were playing, the fact that the Browns hadn't won a game since the bye week, they were riding a 3-game losing streak. So I was impressed overall with the entire team. And even though Tom Brady threw for nearly 400 yards, I thought the defense, given the circumstances and what they were up against, the best quarterback in the NFL, I thought they held their own. I thought they got pressure on Tom Brady, made him uncomfortable at times. So for the defense, I'm going to go with a solid B.
Solid B from Chris Fedor on the defense. Let's go to Kenny Rhoda. Kenny? A B.
There's my letter grade. I give them a B, guys. I think they did a great job for the first 58 minutes of this football game, but unfortunately, there's no Mariano Rivera on this team. There's no closer that comes up with the big play. You would expect that maybe from Joe Hayden, maybe a DeQuell Jackson, who's kind of the quarterback of the defense in the middle of that linebacking core. But they've got to learn to close, and so because of that, I give them a B.
All right, Mike Cairns.
I'm kind of going along that same line with Kenny. I'll go the first 3 3/4. I'll give you an A-. The last 61 seconds, you get an F, and that kind of grades out to a B+ for me.
All right, I just gave him a B-ish based on the same thing. It's not really it's not, it's when you look at what they did for the first, everything down to the last minute of the game, I don't know what more you could ask for. When I saw Tom Brady with his hands, with his head in his face and his hands in his face, something like that, it was telling.
It was enjoyable to watch.
Really was. I was digging it. I was loving watching that sight on the bench, so it was good. All right, Eric, what's next?
All right, you got 2 grades for Jason Campbell. Grade his performance and grade his overall season performance.
Okay, so we're just grading him for yesterday, and then we're grading him for the whole season. Chris, why don't you
I
go ahead?
didn't make the letter C, Eric. What's up with this 2 questions in one thing? I didn't make the letter C in my production meeting here today. Jeez.
Chris, you go first.
You're a professional. You got it.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go first, Kenny, so you have time to make a little production over there.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Always thinking of others. I appreciate that,
He's a
my
good
friend.
guy like
You're
that.
absolutely welcome. I'll go with an A for yesterday with Jason Campbell. I thought he stood toe-to-toe against Tom Brady. He made big boy throws all game long. And even at the end of the game, he put his team close enough, I guess, to try a game-winning field goal. So there's nothing where I look at Jason Campbell yesterday and say, you know what, I wish you would have done this better, or I wish you wouldn't have left this play out there on the field. Every time he had an opportunity to make throws in critical situations, 3rd down in the red zone, he was there to make those throws. And sure, it helped that Josh Gordon took that slant pass and took it all the way to the house. But overall, I thought Jason Campbell ran the offense effectively. He never panicked. He was always composed. And he made huge plays when the team needed it. So that's an A performance for me.
What about on the season, Chris?
On the season, I still think he's average because I think you have to look at the entire picture. And sure, he was pretty solid against Kansas City, a really tough defense. But then that Steelers game, even before he got hurt, he didn't seem as effective as I would have liked him to be. The Cincinnati game, I thought, was the biggest game of the year for the Browns, maybe the biggest game since 2007. And he didn't play well in that game either, despite the fact that Cincinnati didn't have their top cornerback, Leon Hall, or their top defensive lineman in Geno Atkins. So I think overall, when I look at Jason Campbell, I still see an average quarterback. He's capable of the game that he had yesterday against New England. He's shown that. But he's also capable of those clunkers where you're just left there scratching your head. And overall, that's average.
All right, we'll give Kenny a little more time for production. We'll go to Mike Cairns. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give him an A for yesterday's performance, and incomplete on the season because in my opinion, if Jason Campbell, we saw how good Jason Campbell is when he's healthy. Obviously, the ribs, that keeps falling down, but you get it. You get the point. The ribs are completely healed, and you could see what happens when Jason Campbell's completely healthy. He's moving out of the pocket. He's making plays. He's advancing the football. And I even going to go a little bit farther. Had the Browns named Jason Campbell the starter from training camp, they would be in a playoff run right now. They would be a playoff caliber team if they were a healthy Jason Campbell for the whole season. And that's not saying much because we haven't had much to choose from the quarterback.
All right, let's speed it up just a little bit. I'm going to give you a question mark for the beginning of the season because I don't understand if he was that good or at any point, how did he get jumped by Brian Hoyer? So and maybe that's on the coaches, and I'll give you that. So I'll get rid of that for that. For the season, for the most, it's a B- because he's or B- For yesterday, closer to an A. I don't know. B minus closer to.
Are you gonna B-ish again?
I don't know, man.
How
I
many
gotta
B-ish
keep.
can you have?
I gotta quit drinking with
Yeah.
with the what's anyway C plus whatever. Go ahead. Let's go. What do you got, Kenny?
Production value is?
Yeah.
All right, production value.
You're giving him an
My
A for the
production value is
season?
an F, but I give him an A for his performance yesterday. I agree with Chris. To even have the Browns in the game and to play one of his best games, I think, sixth
Whatever you just
all-time
said,
for
this
yards
product is all
in
gone
a
now.
single game, and he did it on the road against Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, so he gets a solid A for yesterday. But for the season, he just gets the letter C for me, so he gets an AC. Fred, he really do throw the hammer down. So an AC this morning for
Nice.
Jason Campbell overall.
All right. Thanks for saying what I was trying to say, Eric. I think that's it. Right. We're out of time. Eric,
hello?
the referee,
Hello?
you with us or what?
I'm on the phone. 1 second.
All right.
All right.
Hey,
Thanks.
Chris, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Your good stuff. What do you got going on in your life other than 92.3 The Fan and Cleveland.com?
92.3 The Fan, of course, Cleveland.com. You can catch me both places.
All right. Sounds good. Chris, thanks for disagreeing with me this morning. I appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Anytime.
All right. Chris is done. Kenny, we'll come back to you in a minute. Let's
That's
go
awesome.
to Kenny. We're coming back to you in a couple minutes. All right. So hang tight.
Okay.
All right. Matt Wilhelm joins us from inside of his car. Hey, what are you doing?
I can't hear a word you're saying.
I can't either. What's this noise? It's like there's a blender going.
Yeah, somebody turn the blender on for Matt's car. Yeah, he can't hear us.
Nothing?
He can't. Oh,
Can you hear us now?
how's that? Is that better, Matt?
Oh, we lost him. We lost him.
we'll
We
have
lost him.
to-
Lost him. All right, Eric,
we'll
bad
get
job
back.
out of you, man.
I know.
I'm embarrassed for you. I
I'm an embarrassment.
rushed through that whole segment of our grading thing so we can get to Matt because Matt was sitting in the car. All right, let's try him one more time. How about now?
Still the same thing.
Nothing?
Can you hear us, Matt?
You got to turn that coffee grinder off.
Yeah, it's not on his.
It's a bad connection. We're gonna get him on the phone.
All right, we'll talk. We're going to call you. Can you see me? We're going to call you.